Hello, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. In this video, I'm going to do a highly requested topic, which is revision. So revision is a Neville Goddard technique, and yeah, it's actually not a technique that I use, but I still will talk to you about it. I mean, I may use it without knowing that I'm using it, but I've never really gotten into revision personally. I'll tell you why that is, but still, of course, you can use this technique if you want. If it really resonates for you, then go for it and use it. So I'm going to talk about revision, what I know about it through my perspective in this video. Before I jump in, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel right there or below. And also know that I offer lots of self-study manifesting courses. All of these courses are linked below in the description. 11 courses down there can help you manifest essentially anything you want. And the last thing I'll say is I do a weekly giveaway for a bundle of 3 ebooks that I wrote. The way to enter into this contest is to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, and to comment below. I give this bundle of ebooks to 3 people every week on Fridays. Okay, let's talk about revision. People ask me to do this video all the time, and that's great, that's cool. Part of why I haven't done a video yet about revision is it's not a technique that I really use. So why is it not a technique that I really use? I think that is because I was just thinking about it before I recorded the video, and the reason is because I know that in every now moment, a new reality can be created. And so if I know in this exact moment, whatever I'm focusing on and whatever I'm impressing as true in my inner world, impressing my subconscious mind as true, or whatever I'm landing in as true, that's gonna create the new reality. So for me, there isn't so much of a need to go back into the past to change something, because I don't need to think of the past thing to change it. I just need to know what I want to create from now on. Okay, so this is mostly, I think, how I'm operating. And I talk about that in this video where I say you can't mess up your manifestation. That's the title of the video. And it goes into how every now moment is a fresh, clean slate. So there actually isn't a past. The past only exists in your mind. Okay, this is really important. We're getting into the quantum field when we talk about this, but feel into this. This is super important to understand reality. So the past is simply a concept in your mind. Your only connection to the past right now in this moment is your own memory or belief or conception about what happened. That's the only thing that the past is. It's only your own focused attention in this moment on something that you perceived happened in the past. Okay? So the only, I guess the revision, as I understand it, is something we use to change the past. And I'm going to talk about why someone might want to use it, and if you were to use it, how to do so. So I'll get into that. But the only reason we'd want to change the past is if we're focused on the past and we're convinced that the past was real. But the only reason the past is real is because you're focusing on it in this now moment. You understand? And so the past doesn't have to exist. It only exists with your focus. So if you're consumed with something that happened in the past, you might want to use a technique like revision to start to shift and kind of let go of that past experience. But what's important to understand is you can also use your focus to just focus on the new reality that you want to create from this now moment on. So it really is just about where you want to put your focus. What you focus on grows. I dive deep into that in this video up here, so you can have a look after this video if you want. So having said that, I don't really use revision, maybe because at this current moment in my life, there's nothing from my past I really feel the need to go back to and undo, maybe. And if there's something that happens that I don't really like, I tend to focus my attention on, well, what do I want to create now? What's the desired outcome I want to create now? Okay. So having said that, if you want to do a technique like revision, how I would personally do it, or how I would personally do it is, it's like every other manifesting technique, right? So you want to go into your inner world, and it may be easier to script it and write it out since it's a very specific thing that happened. You want to create a new storyline. You're shifting from one storyline to another storyline. And essentially what you're doing with revision is you're trying to convince, or you're maybe not trying to convince yourself, you're convincing yourself that something different happened than how you originally perceived it, right? So let's say you had an embarrassing experience with your specific person. You really want to revise that. You want to get rid of it. You hate that it happened. You don't like that it happened. So what's happening, why that's important to you and why you're probably looking into revision, is you're focused on this thing happened. And so when you're convinced that this embarrassing thing happened, you're keeping it in the reality that that happened. Now, what you want to do through a revision technique is you want to start to change the story of what happened. Now, what I would personally do is I would change the story increment by increment. I wouldn't jump to a whole new story personally, unless it just depends how anchored this belief is inside of you that it happened this way. If something is really anchored in you as true, then I would personally take small steps into a new reality, because it can be hard to convince yourself. If you believe this really embarrassing thing happened, you're focusing on it all the time, and you want to believe that nothing happened, sometimes that's a really hard jump to make, to go all the way into believing, no, nothing happened. Maybe you can do it, and that's awesome if you can. But if something is really anchored in you, you want to start taking small steps out of that story into a new story. So again, sticking with the example of, let's say something embarrassing happened with your specific person. You wish it didn't happen. You want to erase it. You want to get rid of it. What's some revision techniques you could do? You can start saying things like, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. It really wasn't as bad as I thought. My specific person totally knows that that wasn't a big deal. My specific person isn't that caught up in it. My specific person barely remembers that that happened. So as you can see, what I'm doing by changing the story, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm starting with saying it happened, but it wasn't a big deal. Okay? Once you're creating an inner experience of it happened, but it really wasn't a big deal. No one really cares. It wasn't a big deal. You can start keep moving towards, because we're moving towards it didn't happen at all. You can start moving towards people don't even remember that that happened anymore. They're forgetting about it. I'm forgetting about it. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. No one else is thinking about it. Everyone is totally forgetting that that happened. Okay, so you're revising by taking the step again to, it's starting to, as you're creating this new story, it's starting to dissipate out of your inner world. It's starting to dissipate out of your body, out of your memory, out of your thought process. And you just keep moving the story towards, okay, now, well, essentially what ideally is going to happen, I think, with revision is you're not even going to be thinking about it anymore, because when you stop thinking about it, it no longer exists. So basically, you want to take the story as far as you can towards that point of it doesn't exist. You want to take it as far as you can to oh, no one's even thinking about that anymore. And eventually, you hopefully want to land in a place where you're not thinking about it at all. What you can do when you get closer to that and it does pop into your mind, you can just divert your attention, move your attention to something else. But remember, what you're not thinking about actually doesn't exist. The only reason something exists in the past, again, is because you think it happened. The past does not exist. It's a concept. Right here in this now moment, there is no past. There's no past. There's only this moment. The past is your own concept of what has happened, okay? And so the way you revise, in this example, I was talking about getting rid of something, but essentially you have to just increment by increment or do the big jump. It's up to you. You have to change the story of what happened. By changing the story, you change that of how it happened. You change it, okay? That's all you got to do. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here with me in this video. I love being here with you. Please make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.